I'm gonna set these to the side, bring out our first box, and we're gonna get to work. Okay, in this box, we have all of my distress oxides and inks in the pad form, and then we have some distress crayons. So let's see what we can do with organization with this. I almost wonder if one of these little skinny bins might be better. Those fit in there pretty well. Let's see. Let's see how many we can get in there. That actually worked pretty well to hold all of my little ink pads for distress ink and oxide. So for now, I think we're just gonna set this to the side and then put the rest of our ink pads and distress crayons in a box. So let's move on. Honestly, I probably could get rid of some of these things, guys. These are great ink pads and they work really well, but I rarely grab for these. I think I'm gonna go ahead and donate these. I know it kind of feels like we're just moving from one box to another box, but really the closed box system is just not serving me well. I feel like to go and get an ink pad, I would have to pull the box, find the right box because some of them aren't labeled, and then pull the box off the shelf, remove the lid, find somewhere for the lid to live for a second while I get out what I need, and then use what I need and then close it all back up. It's hard to find things and then hard to access things. So having these open bins that are clear, I think is going to be a lot more functional for me. It may not be as aesthetically pleasing to see all of these things on the shelf, but I think it's going to be good in the long run. That's one box cleared out. Gonna go ahead and move my distress inks from this smaller one over to a larger one and see what happens with that, because I'd like my crayons to be with those. So let's see what happens when we move these over. I also wanted my little tiny pads to go in this one as well, and I mean, what do you guys think? I'd like to be able to look through my inks. I need to get some of the labels for them, but I don't have those right now. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have. So one thing that would probably help is if I go ahead and remove these little daubers. This is a really good trick though. If you get these little Velcro things, dots from Dollar Tree, your little dauber will stick right to the back of that, and it's a great way to keep up with them if you have the bright storage for that. So there's that idea if that helps anyone at all. I have one of these Tim Holtz containers for your storage. I think I have a rolling cart over here, and I think I might put the ones that I use the most in here and keep that available to me. I have a few spaces in here, so let me just go ahead and take the time to do that. These Tim Holtz storage boxes are perfect for using the Velcro dot and the daubers. They fit really well, and it doesn't really impede with the storage of them. And I really like this idea for my rolling cart, especially for the ones that I use all the time. I can go ahead and put my daubers on there and just have those ready to go. And then just keep the inks that I don't use quite as much in the other container. Okay, now that we have that there, we made a little extra room for our inks on this side, which will be good. Stand those little guys up. Okay. I'll put this on the rolly cart. Now the question is, should we go ahead and consolidate all of the inks into one container? I think that makes the most sense. I just don't know if there's room. We'll try it. Embossing probably needs to go in its own container. Embossing. Okay, so it does fit. Okay, feeling good about that one. I'll show you guys. It's full to the brim, but everything fits. Let's see if we can zoom this out just a teeny tiny hair. Okay, so there's what that bin looks like. I definitely put everything in there backwards. So this is the front. Come on now. Okay, that works. I'm gonna put this on the shelf. Now for our embossing box. I guess stamps will stay over here for now. We've got our embossing pads. Let's use a little box for this. Embossing. And then we'll put all of our powders. Oop, that's ink. Embossing powder. Embossing powders. Another embossing powder and our embossing gun. Oop, the straggler. Actually, might just put all of these flat and then put that on top. Okay, that works pretty well. I like having all this stuff together. If I decide to do some embossing, I just grab this bin, so that works really well. I kind of want these to be, there we go, like that. All right, one more bin ready to go. I'm gonna put these inks with the distress ink. Now we have a ton of stamps to deal with. I think I'm just gonna start lining these up largest to smallest. Maybe, I don't know, friends, what the best thing to do is. Ideally, a little shelf would be great for these on the wall. That way you could like just see them and grab what you need immediately, but I don't have that right now, and we're not gonna stop to try to find one and hang one on the wall. So we're just gonna kind of organize them the best that we can and work on those things as we have time and money. I do like that these are contained. Maybe I should have put these in first, or I guess we could just do that number. Another box empty. Next up, alcohol inks and distress sprays. I'm trying to think because honestly, I don't grab for these enough that I would need to have easy access to them on a daily basis. And you know, they're contained and I know where they are when I need them. So I don't know if I need these in our clear storage bins. I might skip this one for now and move on to something that I use frequently and really need to be able to have access to quickly. So let's prioritize a little bit. I'm gonna wait on this box and we're gonna do one that I use quite often and really need to be able to get to every single day. Like this one. This box contains all of my hardware and my eyelets and paper clips and brads, labels, like metal things. And I use this quite frequently, so it would be great if I had this available to me often, like easily, so I can get to it every day. This is one of those things that might live on my rolling cart. I use it that much. So let me look over here. I'm gonna put this on the rolling cart. Okay. Eyelets. I love to be able to grab for these. It would be ideal to have these somewhere that I can see them. Also something I need all the time. These ones I use less frequently, way less frequently. Have never used. Forgot I had. I use these quite a bit. Also brads. Okay, let's think about this. I love these eyelets and I use them all the time. So much so that I might want them on my rolling cart. So let's brainstorm that for a second. All right, I have these little containers. I'm gonna try these and see if they'll fit there. Oh, no, it's a little too tight. I think it would fit, but it wouldn't be easy to use because it's slap full. Let me think for a second. I decided that I wanted to use my little drawers that are currently on my rolling cart, but they already had some like binder clips and paper clips in them. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to reorganize these and sort these into a different container with all my bulldog clips. And I think this will work a little bit better for me anyway, to have all of those clips in one spot rather than in different drawers. And then once I free up those little clear acrylic drawers, I'm going to add my eyelets to that and see how that works out for me. The rest of the items that I had in that bin are things that I don't use quite as often as my eyelets. So I decided that I'm going to try to find containers to put my eyelets in, because the plastic bags just, they aren't doing it for me. I don't love those. So once I figure out which containers to put the eyelets in, I'm going to put all of those boxes inside of this clear bin. And I'm going to try to put things that I use the least down toward the bottom, and then the things that I tend to grab for more are going to be closer to the top, so that it's a little bit more functional for me. And I really think that this system's going to work, but time will tell. Okay, this bin has a lot of things stacked, which isn't ideal. So we've got some brads there, and then we have eyelets, like really large eyelets, and then some really skinny ones. And the reason I think this is going to be fine for me, I rarely use these ones. I don't use those ones all that much, but sometimes. The things that I use a lot are on the top, so I think that this will be fine. I use these a good bit. I use these little what are these called, jump rings, and my brads. So I think that we're going to be okay with this, but time will tell. You know, if something's not working for me, we'll always go back and readdress it. But for now, I'm pretty happy with this. I have the things that I use constantly on my rolling cart, so I think that's going to work out well. And then being able to see these things and pull things out when I need them, I think will be easier, because the things I use are on the top. All right, I'm gonna put this one away. We have one large plastic bin left, so I'm trying to decide what I want to do next with this. This is probably gonna be a hot mess. Let's see what happens. Okay, friends. Let's try to get ourselves in frame a little bit here. Okay, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So this is the all dreaded bead box. It is just pure chaos inside this box. I have different storage containers. I have some beads in boxes, some in little bags. I have these little twisty top containers. It's just not working for me because I have to dig and I can't really see everything because things are piled up. So my goal with this was to try to just organize and consolidate things into these little boxes so that I could, you know, access my beads a little bit better. But what happens is we moved from a large container down to a smaller bin, and it just isn't working. Things are more stacked and more cluttered than they were. I did take time to kind of sort out some things and, you know, like clean up and organize things inside of the bin, but the bin itself just really didn't work for me at all. This is a hot mess. I'm not happy with this at all. You guys are going to have to help me come up with a better way. I feel like these little boxes are so good because you can open them easily and then grab what you need out of them. The bags are not so easy to use, but I don't... It's not easy. I probably need to get rid of some of this stuff, y'all. Hey guys, welcome to the video. I went to a yard sale with my little girl and we found the bead haul of the century. Bead haul of the century. You guys, I'm not saying I spent over $100 on beads, but I'm also not saying I didn't spend $100 on beads. And that's a lot, considering that most of them were 50 cents and 25 cents. That's a lot of beads. So we're going to show you some of our favorites, and then I'm just going to set up the camera and let you watch me organize said beads. So here we go. We're starting out with pink and purple. And some of my favorites are these little tiny metal beads. They are so heavy and cool. And they're the tiniest little donut shape, which is so fun for fidgeting. So I was pretty excited about those for 25 cents. And then look at all these beautiful pink beads, y'all. These look like cotton candy. How fun is that? And they were 50 cents. Look at all the beads. I'm going to try to zoom in and get a close-up on some of these for y'all, but look how beautiful they are. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you showing you every single package of beads, but just know, look, your girl got some beads. And this is just two colors. This is pink and purple. So, here we go. So on Friday, my sister sent this screenshot of a yard sale advertisement from Facebook Marketplace. And on the advertisement, they had this photo of all of these beads in these bins. And so she sent it to me and my older sister because we were really into the beading and the crafting and stuff. So I decided I was going to go to this yard sale and just check it out and see what the prices were like and see if there was anything I needed to add to my stash. So I got up Saturday morning and my little girl and I went to this yard sale, and y'all, they had a table, like a fold-out table full of beads. They were all organized by color, and then she had all of the prices on them. They were clearly marked, and then she had these little bags, these little mesh bags that she handed out so you could like put your beads in a bag and carry them around and decide what you wanted. So my daughter and I both started picking through these beads, and y'all, they are so good. A lot of them are glass beads. Some of them are check glass. There are, she had charms. She had almost any color that you could imagine. So my daughter and I, we stocked up, y'all. We filled up our little bags, and we went to check out on day one, and it came to $56. Y'all, I was like, how does a person buy $56 worth of beads? Like, I don't even know. Most of them, y'all, I'm telling you, they were 25 cents or 50 cents. There were some of the bigger bags that were like $3, $2, but the vast majority of these things were just super cheap. A lot of them, like these here, were still in the strings. She had never used them. They were like still completely from the store on their strings. Some of them had the tags on them. So we racked up, and not only did we buy the beads, we found all of these storage containers that you're seeing here. All of these were 25 cents. So I didn't even get all of them. She had so many. I really regret not picking up more of the storage containers for a quarter. Like, what was I thinking? Leaving those behind, because you can always use storage containers, but these are perfect for organizing the beads. So many of them fit perfectly in here. We also found some little tiny storage containers that look like little Tic Tac boxes, and then they fit inside of a larger box. And I decided to use those for seed beads, little tiny beads, or beads that we only had a few left of. So we incorporated all of the beads into these storage containers. My daughter did most of the work. She would take time to organize them down at the bottom of the table by color, and then she would put them in a gradient from darkest to lightest, and then tell me where to put beads, and then I would just open them and put them where she said to, because she was so much better at this than I am. So we took probably 2 hours or more to get our beads sorted and put away. I decided to show you a few of my favorites, but we're going to take a look at the end of all of the beads. But yeah, it was such a good find, y'all. So we spent that $56 the first day, and then she and I decided we had to go back the second day because we had been playing in them and loving them, and we decided we were going to go back and see if she had any left. And y'all, she did. So we did the shopping thing again, and we ended up buying, I think it was $46 the next day. So, yeah, we spent a little money on beads, but y'all, I am stocked up for life. I obviously have a problem with color teal. I love this color, so you can see that I picked out so many teal beads. I adore that color. And when we got them home, I was like, oh yeah, you can clearly see that your girl has a problem with this color. But they are so beautiful and so shiny and sparkly. And I really love that I have this large collection now, because when you make a journal and you put it together and you use your paints and you use your fabrics and you get ready to do your tassels at the end, you never really know what colors you're going to need until the very end. So it's nice to have such an array of colors so that you can really design your dangles and your charms to coordinate really well with your journal. So I was so excited about this. I hope you guys enjoy watching us do our little organization of the beads. And toward the end of the video, I will show you the open containers and point out some of my favorites again. But I tried to get a few clips of the process so you could just see how we did everything. This is the multicolor box. And you can see here, these beads still have the tag. I think it's probably from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but it was $12 regular price, and we got those for $1.50. So even with Hobby Lobby or Michael's sale, it's still so much cheaper at this yard sale. Look at these mushrooms. Are those not the cutest things ever? So my daughter and I just kept on organizing, and of course the boss had to come by and check on progress several times. She is always right in the middle of everything that we do. So I'm just going to let you guys watch the rest of this process, and then we will do a little chatting at the end. Oh, I was also going to tell you guys, the first day when we went to this yard sale, it was blazing hot. I mean, we are in August in Mississippi. The humidity is like a bajillion%, and the heat index was over 100 this day. And they had the bead table right out in the sun. So my daughter and I, we were just we were pouring sweat and just so miserably hot. So she was getting a little bit tired of looking, and I wanted to keep going. And that's part of the reason that I didn't get all the storage containers that I wanted. My little girl, she was rushing me that day. And so I got what I could carry, and then we just kind of went and got a cold drink from Sonic. And then we went to Target because she had a birthday party she was going to for a friend, and we were getting her a gift. So she was kind of over me that first day, but when we got home and we started playing with all the beads, we got excited. She was excited. I was excited. We were having so much fun making necklaces, and she made bracelets and necklaces for her friends that were going to be at the party, and she had so much fun. So the second day when I went to pick her up from the party, the sleepover, I said, do you want to go look at beads with me? Or, you want me to drop you off at home and I can go back and look? And she's like, no, I want to go look too. So that second day, Saturday, was a lot of fun. They had moved the bead table over into the shade, and that made such a huge difference. We weren't miserable while we were looking. And a lot of the beads, you could tell she had sold some, but y'all, she still had a table full of beads. I honestly wonder what the end of the day looked like for her. I should have left her my phone number so I could just make her an offer on what was left, because this girl had the best collection of beads I've ever seen. She told me that she has a bead room in her house and that she still has so many that she feels overwhelmed with at home, even after getting rid of these. And I was like, girl, I want to be you when I grow up. I want to have a room devoted only to beads and beading. I was like, that is probably the coolest thing that I've ever heard. So it was a lot of fun to pick out beads and to look and to shop. And my little girl and I, we bonded and had so much fun organizing and then playing and making jewelry and such. And this lady at the yard sale, she had all of these little mesh bags that she was, handing out for shoppers to use while they were shopping. And she let me keep them. And she said that she had extras in her car that she would just give us. And she gave me all of these mesh bags. And y'all know I use those to organize my current journal projects so that I can store like all of my themed journal stuff in each of those bags. So I was super excited to get those too. I thought that was really cool. So also, when we went back that second day, the rest of the storage containers had been bought up. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't get more of the storage containers on the first day. But these are the little containers I was telling you look like Tic Tac boxes. And there's like, I don't know, probably 30 in each set. And so they were $2 each for each set of these little tiny bead organizers, which I still thought was a great deal. But 25 cents for the larger ones, I'm kicking myself for not getting all of them, y'all. But yeah, I ended up having almost enough containers to put all of the beads in. You'll see toward the end, there are, I think it's just the alphabet beads that I didn't have space for or a container for. So I might try to just go pick up one more from one of the craft stores and organize those alphabet beads, because I'm trying to remember now, but I think that's all I didn't have. We'll see here in just a minute after I sort through some of these beads. I decided to go ahead and separate some multicolor beads into their colors and then organize them in the corresponding color tray. So that's what I'm doing here. And then all of those little tiny seed bead containers, I decided to put in a clear bin. So they're all kind of contained and together. And it's on the left there, you can see it. And I'm going to end up putting the alphabet beads in that container. So they're all organized and contained right now. But I do think that one day when I have the opportunity to stop by a craft store, I am going to go ahead and pick up one more storage container so that I can organize my alphabet beads a little bit better. Okay, my friends, this is where we ended up. I have 7 of these larger containers filled with beads, and then we have 3 of the containers that have small amounts of beads or seed beads. And then we have this empty container and this empty container for more beads. I also still have all of my alphabet beads that really need, I feel like, one of these. So I'm going to go to the craft store and hopefully find another container for those. But for now, I feel like this is so much more organized than what we started with. And yes, the collection grew and got bigger, but also it's so easy to use now because of all these containers. So what I thought we would do to finish up this video is kind of take a look through each of the containers, do a little tour, if you will, and then put these on the shelf and see how they're looking up there and decide how we want to label them. I mean, I can see through the outside of them, so I don't know that they actually need a label, but on some where there's 2 colors in one container, I might want to label that on the side so that I can easily see that and grab those out. So let me clear these off of our surface and then we'll go through them one by one. We'll just start here with this one. I wanted to show you these little containers. They are absolutely the coolest. I paid $2 for each of them, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24 of these little, they look like Tic Tac containers, but smaller. So they have 24 of these little guys, and they are just absolutely perfect for holding seed beads or small amounts of beads. And then they have this little top that opens up so you can sprinkle out some, or you can take it all the way off if you want to open up the whole container. But these are so stinking handy, and I love them so much. So we have not organized these by color yet. I need to do that probably today, but you can see what we have going on here. The lady that had this before me had labeled a few of them, so I'll take a magic eraser to that and erase that. But here's this container that's full of beads. And then here is this one. I'm gonna take the price tags off too and clean them up. My daughter did this one, so it's a little bit more organized by color and it looks a little bit better, but isn't that neat? So that's the second one. And then the third one has some spaces left in it that we can add more beads. And as I was putting this together, I think probably, you know, I'm not gonna use 5 of these containers of black seed beads. So I probably should downsize some of my beads, but for now, they're all contained and organized and looking good, so we're just gonna kind of let it be. So I have 3 of those containers that are being used, and then I have one that's completely empty. So I'm excited about that. And then I also bought this container for $1, and I don't think the lid stays on well. She has a rubber band on this one. But it's got all of these little round containers that would be good for putting beads in also. So I have that to grow into if I need it. And all of these are just gonna kind of hang out together in this clear bin. Now, I do have all of my alphabet beads that need probably a better home than just to be kind of stuck in this box. But like I said, I'm gonna wait until I have the right container and then deal with that. So this is this little container of bead. Okay, our first box of beads here is purple and pink. I think this is the one that we actually started the video out with, and it's probably one of my favorites. It has got some of the prettiest, sparkliest beads that you have ever seen in here. Let me see if I can zoom you in without like turning the video off completely, as I've been known to do. So my daughter put these in color order for me because that's not something that I'm extra good at. But I love these dark pink beads. They are so pretty. These ones, I'll see if I can grab a few out for y'all to look at. I bought these because they look like they've been bled on. I don't know, that sounds kind of gross, but I'm thinking for a creepy, spooky Halloween journal. Or even my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde journal. This might be a cool element to have because these do actually look like they've been splattered with blood. Sorry if that was a little graphic. Probably should have put a warning. So those are some cool ones. I also am drawn to anything that is especially sparkly. And these right here, y'all, these are so super sparkly. I mean, they are just gorgeous. Look how sparkly and beautiful these are. Aren't they awesome? I'm especially in love with anything that does that much glittering. So these are pink, and then she also had the same kind of bead in purple. So these are exactly like those, but in a purple hue. Aren't they pretty? Oh my goodness, I could just play with these all day. There's just something about sparkles that get me. I showed you guys the cotton candy ones already. These are another sparkly bead, but they're a different shape from the others and a different color pink, but they still sparkle too. They're like a darker shade, but super pretty. They're actually shaped like, you know, like a diamond. Isn't that cute? I love those. And then we have glass beads. We have tiny beads. We have these big flat ones. I showed you guys those already. These are like little rocks, like little pebbles that have had a hole drilled through them. My daughter picked this out, and she's really into these. They were some of the more expensive ones. I think we paid $5 for these, but there was a ton of them. And then I had some just random beads that I put in these little containers that fit with the colors. So we've got purple in this one, and then red and pink. So that's kind of how I organized these. Here is the orange, yellow, and ended up being black box. This one kind of turned into a bit of a random box because we had what we had left over at the end, and so we were just trying to make everything work. So we've got purple, some purple in here. I'm not really sure why we did the blue and purple. I can't really remember. But there are some beautiful beads in here as well. I feel like these ones are probably my favorite because they do the shine and the sparkle so well. They also kind of look like, I don't know, fish eggs a little bit. The size of them. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, I love them. I love that color too. So pretty. So shiny. And I'm making a mess is what I'm doing. Let's get these back where they belong. And there's actually two sizes in there, the medium and the small. And then these are larger ones that are very similar to those. These are very cool. Let me see if I can get a few of these out to show you. They're kind of hard to scoop up because they're squares. But they are striped. And they're little orange and clear striped beads. They are so cool. My daughter also picked these out. She had some good picks. I'm happy with those. These are also really cool. And you know I'm all about the tactile feel of things. These ones have a really good feel to them. They're so smooth, and they're round, but they're flat on each side. So they have a really good kind of feel to them. And when you string them up, they'll be in a line like this. They won't be stacked up like donuts, but they'll be more in a line. And so those are really cool. I like those. They would be great for Halloween. I just looked at that one that fell in the black, and that really goes well together. We only have this one little container of yellow, so I've got to find a few more yellow to add to our collection. These kind of look like, what's that candy that we used to eat? Lemon, no, what are they called? They're lemon candies, but that's what they look like. They're super sour. I can't think of the name. Crybabies. They look like crybabies to me. These look like pepper, pepper that hasn't been ground yet. They look like peppercorns. They're really dull and just like that matte black color. Also really cool. These ones are some of my favorite right here, y'all. If I can get them out. And look, show you guys. But they're donuts. They're those fun, easy to play with and fun to feel donut shape. And they're in orange, so that's fun. And now they're in every container because I totally just tossed them everywhere. Here comes Pickle, my little dilly. What you doing, Dill? She wants to play. She's been climbing my arm over here trying to get me to play with her toy. She wants to fetch. Yes, I just said my cat wants to fetch. She enjoys playing fetch. What other ones are really interesting? I mean, all of these sparkly ones, yes. I'm totally in love with. These are super, super sparkly purple. They're kind of hard to see. Let's pull these out and look. Ooh, making a mess. Okay, that's fine. Okay, check these. Look how pretty they are. They're so tiny and sparkly. Aren't those nice? Those will be really fun to use as a like a charm name. So that is that container. Whoops. I love that these close down really well too. They're actually a little hard to get open, which is a good thing because you don't want your beads to go flying. Here's one that I rearranged at the very end, and I used these, I think these are actually like ring boxes. I'm not really sure. That's how they were sent to me when I purchased jewelry on Whatnot. They'll put the ring inside of this to protect it in the mail. So I have quite a few of these that I've used, repurposed for beads, and they work really well in this container. These ones are actually little hearts. Look how cute those are. They have kind of a mother of pearl look to them. And so I have different ones in here. These are circles that look very similar to the hearts. And I think I showed you guys the stars. I don't know if I showed you these clovers. These are so cool. I love these so much. But look how tiny they are. Little clover shapes. Love those. They also have that mother of pearl kind of sheen to them. I love these. These kind of look like long bones to me. Don't they look like little tiny bones? I wonder if I could build a skeleton with them. That'd be kind of cute. And then I've got some shimmery ones here and then an extra container there. These look like moonstone. And I don't know if this is going to pick up on the camera. It's really not looking like it's translating too well for you guys. But if you know what moonstone looks like, these have that moonstone look. And I don't know if they are or not. They're definitely not plastic. They're glass maybe, or either a stone. But they are really pretty in person. I've got some clear and white donuts right there. Those are fun. These glass beads are really pretty. They have a frosted look to them. Very like matte, not shiny, frosted kind of look. And then we've got some sparklies. These are pretty. They're flat and they have kind of like that shell look. These are metal. And so they feel cold to the touch, and they're really heavy. Very cool little donut shaped beads. Those will be fun to play with. And then we got some super sparklies, of course. Look at those. And they shine all kinds of colors, don't they? They're giving off some brown and purple and black. I do like those. There's that container. Only 3 to go. We're halfway there, guys. This is my favorite one. It is teal and it is just beautiful. I love these colors. This is like my absolute favorite color right here. I love that color. These ones I wanted to show you, even though they make me cringe a little bit. They have a really like lava rock texture to them. They feel kind of like terracotta, and when they rub together, ooh, it just gave me chill bumps. It kind of sounds like you're scrubbing 2 rocks together. Like I hate these. My daughter picked them out because they were like coral and she loves them, but I'm not going to touch those again if I can help it. And then we have these beautiful, look at these, the teal and how shiny they are. Y'all, look how pretty that is. And then there's tons of those pretty shiny beads in the teal colors. They're all just so pretty. I love them so much. Those ones are super pretty right there. They shine really pretty. And then there's our trusty donuts. Those are good ones. So there's that box. Hey, Daddy. Here is the multi and green box. These have got some really cool ones. These are definitely some favorites right here. See if I can get a handful of these out. These look just like candy to me. They have that sugar-coated look to them, and they sparkle in such a good way, but they look just like a gummy candy, don't they, that's coated in sugar. And I'm going to use these on my sweet-themed journal because they do look just like sweets. Oh, I love these so much. They also feel like it. They feel kind of squishy. A really cool texture. These little mushrooms, I think I've showed these already, but I feel like they're worth showing again because they are that cute. Look at these little mushrooms. Aren't they the cutest? Look at that little clear guy with the red dots. I love him. And then we've got the green one, the white dots, and this little guy. They're all so cute. Oops, where did that go? Oh, I see it. So there are those. These were some of the more expensive ones too. I think they were $2 for the package, $2 or $3. And then these are really cool. Gotta show y'all these. There's definitely a heart theme going on in this box. But look how pretty these are. And on the front of each one of these is a little rhinestone heart. And there's the teal, the pink, the purple. There's a white with a pink heart. And they are just the cutest. I love these. So cool. I'm not absolutely certain what you use these beads for, but I thought they looked kind of fun. Like the shape of them. I can't wait to string some of these up together and take a look at those. Those are interesting. They kind of look like the COVID virus, don't they? And then we have these hearts. They're glass and they have little polka dots on them. They are super pretty in all kinds of colors. And then we have all of the beautiful green beads. Some super shiny ones. Look how sparkly these are. Really big chunky beads. Heavy. I think they're glass also. These clovers. I know I showed these already. But y'all, look how stinking beautiful these are. Oh, okay, you guys don't belong. But look at those clovers. How pretty would that be for a St. Patty's journal? I love it. So yeah, there's that box. And they're all beautiful. I'm only showing you some of my favorites, but literally all of these are gorgeous. They are so beautiful. These ones are really cool. They're like little rings, gold rings that have like this cool teal aged color inside of them. Those are really neat too. These ones are cool. Some of these I did put a couple of different kinds of beads together because I thought they were different enough that I'd be able to pick them apart pretty easily. And these little square ones are some of those that are super different. Really cool looking. Yeah, so there's those. Super pretty. Love, love. And this was kind of a random bin. I feel like maybe you should go through those and sort those into their colors. But that's how they came to me. All right, guys. The last bin is the gold box, and it's so pretty. Look how gorgeous. My favorites, I think I showed you guys the ones that look like little boomerangs or arrows. They're super cool. And the string goes through 2 places. Let me see if I can show you. But there's a hole on each side of the little point, and then 2 holes on the bottom. So you would thread these a little bit differently. You need 2 strings, which I think is really cool. So there's those. And similarly to those, all of these little, there's a dark pink, a light pink, and then this is the clear. These also have 2 holes in the top and bottom where you would thread. Can you see that? And then they have the little rhinestone heart on the front. I said rhinestone, really funny. Rhinestone heart. And so those are neat. Very cool. I love these shells, y'all. These are so stinking heavy. You would not believe how heavy these little shells are, but so cool, so pretty. Love those. My daughter is going to be making a Little Mermaid themed or a mermaid themed journal. I don't think it's going to be the Little Mermaid, but a mermaid themed journal. And so she's been choosing some things she wants to use. Look at these. These are silver and gold metallic arrows. Very cool. And then here, of course, I have to show you the clovers because I'm so super into the clovers. Look how pretty they are. Just this mix of kind of a cream, a white, and a darker brown color. Woo, that's my jam right there. I love those. So pretty. So yeah, here's a look at these. Look at those, how sparkly. So much fun to play with. So yeah, there's the beads. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the shelf and then give you a little peek at what that looks like. I think it's gonna be so much better than what we were working with before. And also, I'm still kicking myself for not getting more of these little containers for 25 cents each. What was I thinking leaving those behind? That feels so much better. Oh my goodness, yes. Love it.